Good evening, Jason. Good evening, Alan.
Good evening.
I totally agree with everything you have just said. I don't understand why he took Gordon off. I thought he was the best player on the pitch. I don't understand why he took Joe Linton off, but maybe he could have did that at the 80th minute. But I'm being picky here because I can't blame what Eddie Howe has done. It's one of the few games over the course of his time here that he's made a mistake. If that's the case, I mean, I don't know what was the reasons for taking them off. But another point was you've got to take your chances. Now, I've been here for a long time, for the early 90s, and I remember the Manchester United game, and Erik Cantona, Newcastle battered them for 60 minutes, and Manchester United got 15, 20 minutes at the end of the game. They scored, won the game 1-0, and that was the clawing back of the 12-point lead.
Alan, can I ask you a question?
It's so important to take your chances.
Alan, what was the crowd like? What did you sense in the stadium? Did you sense Liverpool were going to get back into it? It seemed to go very quiet. And obviously I've been manager there and I've had that myself. It gets like edgy, it gets down on the pitch. Did you think that happened?
Yeah, I to an extent, yeah. I think you could feel Liverpool coming back into it. And I think, as you made the point, bringing on some of the top players, like Nunez coming on, and in both identical goal positions for where he put the ball in, coming across the goalkeeper in the far corner. It's just, credit to Liverpool, as you said. But, as I said a minute ago, it's one of the few kind of mistakes or down points. We've been virtually unbeatable at St James's, and who could complain with last year?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I repeated the same, finish sixth, and I would be happy this season and get out the group stages of the Champions League, hopefully. But you never know. It just depends what the draw is in the 31st.
I think that's fair. And he's done brilliantly well, Eddie Howe, since he's been there. Yeah, it's a big club, Newcastle. You turn about turning that big club, or trying to turn it around with the expectation levels now. Bearing in mind they're in the Champions League. In terms of his substitutions, that was probably where he was. Because Al, thanks for the call, Alan. You've been a manager, right? Do you when a result goes like this, and you look back and there are moments in the game, and you think, how much do you look at yourself in the decision making that you do?
Well, listen, let me tell you, I know Eddie well, and I'm not going to say anything more about Eddie than I need to because it's been said. He's done a great job. The signings they've made have been absolutely terrific. I actually thought Tonali was the one who shouldn't have come off. For me, he was my man of the match, although Gordon was excellent. He will be kicking himself, Eddie. He'll go into his little room, the room where you go with the other manager or whatever after, and you have a little drink. But usually, you go there with your staff, and he'll be like, "I can't believe that's happened." You won't believe it at first, and then he'll probably look back tomorrow on the game, and he will blame himself, and I'm sure he'll blame himself to the players as well, and hold his hands up and say, "Maybe I made some errors as well." And you have to do that because players make errors all the time. The first goal was a defensive error ish. For Liverpool and Newcastle today. But managers make errors too. He's played those substitutions in his mind for the right reasons. And obviously it hasn't come off.
It's always easy, isn't it, to pontificate afterwards, after the event. We can all sit and say, I thought Gordon was excellent, and I thought the way that he was running Trent, and we saw Trent. I'm sure Newcastle fans will feel perhaps he should have got a second yellow. Well, I don't think it was. I think it was a foul, but it's not a second yellow. But he had him where he wanted him. I know Harvey Barnes.
You've got to remember, Jace, as well. He's bringing on Harvey Barnes, who's fresh. Might think that we can give him even more trouble. So there's always another argument to it. I'm glad that Newcastle fan was understanding in what he said because he hasn't made many errors there, Eddie, and I'm pretty sure Eddie will kick himself over the errors he's made today.
03717223344 is the number. Andy is a Newcastle fan. Has dialed. Good evening, Andy.
Hiya, boys. Thanks for taking the call.
Oh, thank you for calling. Were you at the game, Andy?
No, I'm watching in Cyprus.
Oh, you're in Cyprus. What's the weather like there?
It's a bit warmer here.
I bet it is.
And the beers are slightly cheaper. So, what's the whole game? I think the ref was the main issue for me to start with the initial challenge with Alexander-Arnold and Gordon. The way I saw it, they both should have been booked.
Yep,
was the way I looked at it.
Yeah.
And because he only booked, he didn't book Gordon. He's then left himself open to Alexander-Arnold making another challenge, which he did. and the rest should have booked him for that. But if he'd booked both of them for the initial challenge, which it should have deserved, and I'm a Newcastle fan, and I know Gordon should have been booked at the same time, then it would have made his decision a lot easier. When Alexander-Arnold then took him out with his elbow, that was another yellow card. But because of the initial thing that he's done, he's created himself a problem.
Yeah, I think I think you're right, Adam, in terms of two things there. Firstly, he's overzealous, Gordon, in his challenge. It is, in my opinion, I wouldn't say it was a booking, but it was a definite foul on the boy. The little throw of the ball away was next to nothing. Whether that's a booking, I don't know.
In these new rules, that is a booking. It's the same as putting your hand up at the referee waving an imaginary card. It's the same thing now, so we've been told.
Yeah. And but the second one, when he's put his hand across him, that is a booking in my book, in any other shape or form. But because of the incident before, you're right. He doesn't send him off.
So you think he should have got a second yellow after 5 minutes?
That handoff was a yellow card.
Right, okay. Well, we're going to disagree on that one. I felt it wasn't. I think it's just a coming together. I think if you'd given a red card for that... it'd have been a terrible
decision because of the first one, Jace,
Go on.
more
It
so.
was a second yellow. It was a second yellow. That's what it was. It was a second yellow. It wasn't a straight red.
But you can't be blaming the ref, Andy. You phoned up as a Newcastle fan, right? You're 1-0 up. They're down to 10 men. You can't be blaming the referee.
No, for that element of it, I think the game... If the referee had did what his job should have been, Alexander would have been off. That would have changed the complexion more than the Van Dijk. I don't agree Van Dijk should have been sent off. As a Newcastle fan, I think that Isaac is running away from goal. Yes, it's a foul. It's a bad foul. He's made no attempt to go for the ball. But there's also two other Liverpool defenders within six yards of them. And I really don't think that it is a sending off offence. So I think he's had another shocker there.
You're going after the ref, Andy, again. I mean, come on, you're 1-0 up.
Oh, but that's Jake,
you can't be blaming the referee here.
Well, I am for those bits. I mean, Liverpool deserve to win because the third part of this was Eddie Howe's substitutions were shocking. They were absolutely shocking. They were the same changes he made against Villa at the same times. Anthony Gordon had Trent on toast. Why did he take him off?
Trent on toast.
I don't understand that. Because Trent couldn't touch Gordon going down the line, and 2 or 3 times he beat him, and it was an accident waiting to happen, and he was on fire. It's one of the best games I've seen Gordon having, and I was very sceptical when he came. But to take him off, I think Eddie's got to learn about the time you make the changes.
Well, do you know what? Parr just made a great... Thanks for the call, Andy. Making those substitutions at that time, they're not cruising, Newcastle. They are in the box seat. They're a man up. They got the goal advantage. From that moment there, really, it's almost inexplicable how I couldn't make a case for Liverpool getting back in it. But Klopp, the changes he made, Pards, were attacking, and to bring on Nunez, I mean, 2 brilliant strikes. In both goals, only one place the ball can really go. Yeah, and credit to him, and he rolled the dice.
And technically, they're 2 tough finishes because the ball's running fast away from you, and it's hard to get a good contact when the ball is travelling away from you like that at speed. And he's hit both of those true as you could possibly hit them. And great goals. And to stick him through the middle, he pushed Salah to the side. He's still got massive assets in that. The one thing about Liverpool, whatever happens to them this year, they're going to score goals. This team is going to score goals. They got goals in them.
We've just seen the Alisson save as well at 1-0. I mean, it's one of those. It's as good as a goal. I mean, they go 2-0 up Newcastle. You can't see any way back for Liverpool.